Today we're going to check out the HANGPRO Drywall lift from HTM Innovations. Real simple, what this is a drywall lift for walls. That's right. Now a lot of you have probably, if you guys have small independent contractors or done small home improvements in your own house, you probably rented, borrowed, or just used the ceiling drywall lifts because ceilings are really hard to hold up. And you're kind of thinking, well, walls aren't as hard as ceilings. You're right. And I used to finish off basements for people hanging 8-foot sheets by myself. Now I couldn't do that anymore without throwing my back out. If I were to try to refinish a basement, I'd be in for. And that's with 8-foot sheets. Well, what if you could use something like this and drop 12-foot sheets on the wall? Bigger sheets mean less seams, means less finish work, cleaner looking walls, okay? And taking all that stress off your knees and back. So that's what we're going to check out right here. It's this new innovative tool. Okay, so right off the top here, all right, the instruction booklet. And I did talk to the owner of the company, and he said his wife was the one that really put this instructions together. And so it's nice to see a company putting the instructions together for the American public by people who are the American public so that you actually understand them. All right, so we got some handles here on top. Okay, this is going to be part of what holds the drywall right here. Looks like that's to hold the axle. Alright, so we've got our package of nuts and bolts, and it looks like most of the bolts have a thread lock already coated on them, and it looks like most of the nuts are nylon insert, which is going to be really nice. So no crappy hardware on this one. Alright, now we're going to take off the first layer here. In the bottom here, got a couple of pneumatic tires. Another handle. Part of the roller base. Okay, got a little support bracket here. I believe that's for the winch. Here's our winch. It looks like we got the big part of the frame here. And I believe that's going to be the axle. Alright, so the first part of the assembly is going to be the cradle. This is what holds the drywall on the lift. We should probably start with the bottom half. This one here has got the channels there, ready to lock this one in place. Okay, so right off the bat, we're going to use some of the longer bolts. There's only 3 lengths of bolts on this, okay? And then this is the medium length bolt. And we're just going to slide the bolts through, setting it so the nuts are on the inside. Looks like this should all be 13 millimeter right here. You want to make sure all your bolts are in, and you want to make sure that it is squared up and flush. You don't want it kind of doing anything like this. So we got the roller base right here. It's already got the smaller wheels attached to it, and they are purposely left loose so that we can get these attached and set in properly so that everything lines up. So from here we're going to need a whole bunch of these smaller bolts that came with it. Obviously, we got the side here, it's got the 2 holes, and the side with the 1 hole. So the 2 holes line up over here with the small wheels. All right, now before I tighten things up, I want to go ahead and put the axle and the tires on as well. So we're going to take a couple of the cotter keys that were here with it, get them inserted. Now the inside ones are in, let's get the tires on. Okay, we've got the last 2 cotter keys. Okay, this one's harder to do than the other ones. needle nose pliers makes it a lot easier. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and just tighten everything up. Now we've got the upper and lower frame parts here. Big old sections. Okay, the upper part is gonna have the pulley for the cable on the far end there. So we're gonna slide the two together so these brackets overlap. We've already got some bolts in here. And then we're gonna need the really long bolt and two more of the short ones. So the really long bolt's gonna go through at the far end with a nut. Okay, if I can just get it started. And then the nuts for these shorter ones are already welded into place. Let's get these all started and then we'll tighten them up. Okay, now we got the roller base on the frame. The nuts are already welded in to the frame, so we just need 4 of the shorter bolts. Get them all started first. Okay, now we're going to flip her over so we can put the cradle on. Now let's make sure the cradle is right side up, okay? So we've got the stickers up top, all right, and the little ledge just down here. Slide it into the rails. And then we're gonna take a pair of vice grips and clamp it in place so that it stays in place so that we can hook the cable up to it here in a little bit. Next we're gonna work with the winch base here. All right, now you're gonna have a few sets of holes here. You're gonna have one down here, and then here and here. Okay, now these are for the handles up here. So the winch base is going down here. We're gonna need 4 bolts. All right, now the winch is gonna need 3 more of these short bolts. And it will need nuts for this one. Okay, now it's time to put the winch handle on. So we've got this big nut here already on it and washer. Slide the winch handle in, it's notched, squared out, it'll fit right in place up here. Washer, and then we'll put the nut in place. Now this one here is, I believe they said it's an 18 millimeter. Okay, so now we're going to attach the handles. We'll start with the big lower handle. Now each of these have 4 holes, but we're actually going to use 2 bolts apiece. The nuts are already welded on the inside of the brackets for each handle. Okay, now this one here is going to be straight on like this. Now the upper handle is able to go right or left-handed depending on how you want it. Okay, so now we're going to feed the cable through. We're going to loosen up this cable guide protector up top here with the 14 millimeter wrench. Let's finally get to use that. That'll just slide right off. So now we can get the cable up and around the pulley. Take some needle nose pliers and just break off the zip tie holding the cable together. Now we're going to run this kind of in between the handles and then these center bars here. Up and over the pulley. Then we're going to take it all the way down to the cradle, and there's a spot right here for another one of the smaller bolts with the nut already welded into the frame. Make sure you get that started, and we'll tighten that up. Okay. Now we need to go back up. Gotta get used to using this thing. And we're going to put the cable guide / retainer back in place. Okay, a little better. Okay, don't tighten that too much so that the pulley can't rotate. That was my bad right off the bat. Just take that a little easy on that one there. That's got to be able to spin. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and winch that up a little bit so I can take the vice grips off without pinching my fingers. And the assembly is complete. Now the tires are gonna need some air in them. They say they're rated at 30 PSI, so get those pumped up. All right, now I will shoot a first use and an initial review video here very shortly. But until then, with the basket all the way down, the way this is designed to work is you're gonna scoop under and grab a piece of drywall, have it up here, so you can use it like a dolly. Okay, so you got the two-handed dolly, so you can transport the 12-foot sheets wherever you want. And when you get them lined up to the wall, the reason for the smaller wheels is you can line this up, get this really actually parallel to the wall, and now I can align it left and right, and then lift it up into place and actually hold it flat against the wall. Not like a ceiling lift where you've tipped it on 45 degrees, and then while you're holding the lift, you take it and then lean this drywall sheet against the wall and then try to attach it. This is going to actually designed to hold it flat against the wall. So you're not like trying to tip it off a 45-degree angle. And you can position it just about however you want. So right off the bat, without even using it, I really like the whole concept of this. I think it's going to actually apply to the real world exactly how it looks really, really well. Okay, so here's the video wrapping up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this assembly video helps you guys out. I hope it intrigued you with this new tool. And please take a moment, if you didn't before, subscribe to the channel, check out the website. And as soon as I get my first test and first use video, it'll be up here as well. Thanks again.